So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video we have some custom tactics and player instructions for my favourite formation in EAFC, this being the 4-2-3-1. Now I've played about 40 games of Rivals and I've only ever lost 3 of them, even with this team, so these tactics are absolutely amazing and I really hope you guys like them. Just before we get started though guys, please be sure to drop this a like as my videos have been tanking a bit recently and it would really help me out. So if these videos you do find useful, please be sure to just help me out and drop that like. And with all that aside, let's get started. If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. Alright then guys, so starting off with the tactics, defensive style, we just have this on balance. Balance is the best in my opinion because it gives you the best control over your defense. When you want to press your opponent, you're able to press him, and then when you want to drop back, be a little bit more passive, you can also do that. For the defensive width, I just have this on 43. This is so we can primarily defend in a nice narrow and compact shape, which will stop our opponent being able to just run right through the middle of us, but we still maintain some of the width that we need to cover the wide areas in case an opponent tries to go for a wider attack. For the depth, I have this on 60. I've actually upped this from 48 since the last time I made a 4-2-3-1 video. The reason for this is it just allows me to win the ball higher up the pitch, which is really useful because I do like to manually defend and press my opponent, so it just allows me to win the ball up a little bit higher. Some people are talking about this 71 depth thing being really overpowered, and I would say it's good if you do have like a really overpowered defense like Virgil, Van Dijk, Lucio, you know, all those players, but if you don't, 60 is more than good enough just to, you know, make up for that lack of pace that your players might have. For the build-up play guys, I have this on balance. This is because I find it to be the nice, like the most varied form of build-up, if you will. You can pick and choose when and where you use each form of build-up. So when you want to build up slowly, you can do that, and then when you want to build up a bit faster, you can also do that. So balanced is great in my opinion. For chance creation, direct passing yet again. This is because it is the most meta option, guys. I hate using this myself, but you have to use it, otherwise you're not going to win any games. Basically, direct passing pushes your team very far into your opponent's half, makes them back up against the opposition defenders, making it very easy to do 1 versus 1 isolation plays. Players will also make better movements in the box, so you just score a lot more goals as a result. For the width, I just have this one below 50. The reason for this is the 4-2-3-1 is one of the wider narrow formations, so you don't want to have it like crazy narrow, and on the flip side you also don't want to have it really wide either because there is a wider variation of this formation. So we just want to have it nice and balanced, which is why I just have it on 49, one below 50. It's just like a psychological thing where it feels a little bit more narrow for me, but yeah, for players in box I just have this on 5, bang in the middle. This is so we can get a few players into the box to finish off our chances, but we don't overcommit everybody to the point where we're going to get counter-attacked if we lose the ball. Corners and free kicks, I just have these on 2 at the moment. Really does not matter what you guys do with this, you can pretty much use whatever you want. Moving on to the types of plays you want to use guys. If you're struggling, I'm just going to give you some suggestions now. So in the striker position, I do suggest using somebody that can actually finish off all your chances. It's important to have a clinical finisher, especially since there's only one striker in this formation, so your striker does need to be able to finish off those chances. It is an added benefit if these players have technical ability, so you can dribble with them and even pass with them and make really nice plays, but prioritize having a player that is fast and can finish the ball in this position in my opinion. Now for the cam, probably the most important player in this formation. It's important that you use a natural, authentic cam, somebody with great passing ability and creative ability, because a lot of the chances that you will create will come through this middle cam. So it is important that you use somebody that is capable of actually creating in this middle cam role. For the wide cams, the left cam and the right cam, I suggest using wingers. This is because these players are the main outlets in this team, so it is important that they have the pace and dribbling ability in order to beat a man. It's also important that these players can cross and pass and even finish their chances too, but just go for nice wingers in these positions. For the 2 CDMs, I go for a balance here. So in the left CDM, I go for a more defensive minded player. This is somebody that will always stay back and basically will add defensive security. He's not going to go forward or anything like that. And then in the other CDM role, I have a more box to box style player. This this is somebody that will both attack and defend, so I would suggest having that balance in the midfield personally, but you can do whatever you want really. Just beware that if you go for an imbalanced midfield, you're going to struggle a lot more. Moving on to the fullbacks, you can pretty much use whoever you want. You can use 2 attacking fullbacks if you want, 2 defensive fullbacks, or go for a balance where you have 1 attacking, 1 defensive. Completely up to you guys. Just use whoever you want to there. As for the centre backs and the keeper, these just need to be meta players. Doesn't really matter about the goalkeeper though, because they're all terrible in this game. Moving on to the player instructions, guys, they are pretty basic, but they actually work out very well. So starting off with the striker, I just have him on stay central and mixed attack. We have him on stay central because we don't want this player drifting off into the wider areas. He is our striker, so it is important that he does maintain those central positions in order to be where we want him to be. If he's drifting out wide, he's not going to be in the correct position to finish off our chances at all. For the attacking runs, I also have this on mixed attack, as I find it to be a lot more varied than getting behind. They just seem to have more authentic movement when you have it on mixed attack. Sometimes they'll come short, other times they'll run in behind. Just makes it a lot easier to attack, in my opinion. For all of the cams actually, guys, I just leave them completely alone. Now the reason I do this is because I don't want to restrict all these players all that much, because I think it's very important that they have a bit of freedom in this formation. If you restrict them to doing certain things all the time, it gets very predictable and it can actually be very difficult to attack. But if you leave them all on the default settings, you just seem to get a lot more varied movements and it just seems to be much easier to attack. If you are struggling defensively though, you can put the right cam on, come back on defense, and the left cam. You could also maybe put them on get into the box for cross if you like, but I just leave them alone. So there are options for you if you're struggling, but I just leave them alone. For the left CDM, guys, the more defensive minded player, I have him on stay back and cover centre. We have him on stay back because, like I said, he's a more defensive minded player, so we don't want him going forward. We always want him to be defending and helping out our back line. Then we also have him on cover centre, so he does block those central areas, which makes it very difficult for our opponent to get through the middle of us. For the right CDM, my more box to box style player, I leave him on the default settings and then I put him on cover centre. We leave him on the default settings because, like I said, he is a box to box style player, so we don't want to restrict him to just defending all the time. We want him to attack and we want him to defend as well, so we kind of just leave him alone. And then we also have him on cover centre for the same reason as the left CDM, where he will block all those passes and attacks through the middle. Now for one of your fullbacks, guys, have them on balanced attack and overlap, in my opinion. This is because it will add extra width to the formation, because although it is a wider narrow formation, it's still quite narrow, so it is important to have that wider option when you're going forward, which this fullback does really well. So he will make the overlapping runs to add extra width and give you a wider option. This is actually very useful when you're going forward and will bail you out quite a lot of times, in my opinion. For the other fullback, I have him on stay back and overlap. We have him on stay back, so we always have at least 3 defenders back at a time, but we have him on the overlap run type for the same reason as the left back, that when we send him on a run forward, he'll make the overlapping runs to add extra width. If you're struggling defensively, you can put them both on stay back while attacking, but I just leave one of them on balanced. As for the centre backs, guys, I just leave them alone, don't touch them. And for the keeper, if you want, comes for crosses, sweeper keeper, but again, I just leave him alone. But yeah, guys, that is it for the video. If you have enjoyed, please be sure to drop this a thumbs up. It does really help me out. Also sub to the channel if you are new, so you never miss out on any of these videos, because a lot of you that watch my videos are not actually subscribed. So if you are interested in seeing more content, make sure you do click subscribe so you don't miss out. And yeah, guys, that is everything for the video. I hope I've helped you out. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Have a great day, guys. Peace.